Welcome back, everybody. Sheepdog Smokey here, and Sleepy Joe seems to be at it again, although this time it's more, or should be more worrying for Democrats because he seems to be telling the truth. As always, before we begin, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Healthcare has been one of the big issues for Democrats for some time now. It really started in 2008 when Barack Obama was declared the winner of the election. It was a cornerstone of his administration from day one. And as we all remember, in 2012, we had to pass the ACA before we could find out what's in it. The second it passed and he signed it into law, my healthcare costs tripled, as I could only afford the cheapest plan my company was offering. The benefits under that plan were less than half what I had under my other plan. And I was unable to even use my insurance, to the point where when I would go to get medical care, I would go to the county hospital. They would look at my insurance, and they actually told me it will be cheaper if we don't use this. If we just say you don't want to use your insurance and you just want to be treated as if uninsured. I was literally carrying an insurance plan to avoid a tax. But in a recent appearance, Joe Biden actually seems to admit what will happen if the government gains control of your health care.
And for folks in the working class that are below 400, they will, in fact, increase their premiums. The public option will be available in my plan. We'll make sure it's not quality. We'll make sure it's only affordable.
There you have it. Higher premiums. He even seems to almost say that quality will go down. I will not stop harping on this because, very simply, I watched as the UK had doctors telling parents, one of them not a British citizen, they could not remove their son from a hospital to seek other opinions, but they had to watch their child die. We've seen some other countries try to legislate that children diagnosed with birth defects in the womb will not be birthed, or similar things. Thankfully, the few rumors I've seen have all been attempts that failed. But the control of healthcare is control of the people, more so than gun control. Gun control strips your ability to defend yourself, but healthcare control strips your ability to not die when it could be prevented. Democrats don't want to really admit this, although Bloomberg did actually say, well, if you're 95 and diagnosed with a terminal disease, you've had a good life. Go on home. The problem comes in because they know we can't afford it. They will have to cut costs. They're not going to cut costs by telling the pharmaceutical lobbyists and other medical lobbyists to take a hike, and they're not going to pass bills allowing these people to raise prices whenever they want. I don't want price controls, but I want the free market to reign. Thankfully, you cannot patent or copyright a chemical formula for medication because it's just too easy to replicate without the exact chemical formula. Someone could take, say, Tylenol, and with a minor tweak in the amounts, it's no longer Tylenol, but it is still an acetaminophen tablet. The same is true for ibuprofen, for, I forget what the actual drug is for Zyrtec or Claritin or Allegra, or even heartburn. You can achieve the same results with a different formula. You need only look at the over-the-counter medications available in your local grocery store or pharmacy to see that Tylenol is right next to the store brand of acetaminophen. A 30-count tablet bottle of Tylenol will run you $8, while the store brand runs you $3. You simply can't call it Tylenol. That is the free market. That is capitalism at its finest. If Equate can come up with an acetaminophen tablet and sell 30-count jars for $3, We know that Tylenol does not have to charge $8 for the same exact product to not go out of business. The problem is name brands carry a mindset. And these name brands have lobbyists. And when you get government in charge of your health care, all of a sudden you won't go to your doctor and then head to CVS, Walgreens, or Kroger to get your prescription filled. You'll head downstairs to pick up your prescription. And who do you think will be in the pharmacy in those hospitals that are run by the state? The person who lobbied hardest to be in those hospitals. You won't be able to get over-the-counter acetaminophen anymore because it will be something that has to be prescribed to you. It's not about healthcare. It's about control. And the only real saving grace to any of this is that Biden seems to be unable to control what he says. He will openly tell you what he's planning. For crying out loud, he has already said he'll put Beto O'Rourke, or as he's actually named, Robert Francis O'Rourke, in charge of gun control. O'Rourke is a man who drove drunk, tried to flee the scene of an accident, has a breaking and entering charge, wrote fantasies about running children over with his car, admittedly has done drugs, he's just a reprobate, who wants to send armed thugs door to door to forcibly confiscate any weapon he deems should not be in the hands of civilians. Biden has admitted that. He's admitted in that video you saw, your healthcare premiums will go up. He admits he's going to put someone who is himself a criminal in charge of disarming the law-abiding. And sadly, we have millions of people who cheer him on. I don't so much fear Joe Biden. I pity him. Were this someone in my family, we would be looking for hospice care. I've had someone in my family diagnosed with dementia. Never got as far as Joe's gotten because they were diagnosed with other things and they didn't last. But this is a man who is not mentally fit. He's not healthy, honestly. He needs to have constant care around him. But because he's Joe Biden, and because he happened to have been the vice president for Obama, no one's going to say a word. The left-leaning media will spin this as to say, well, he didn't mean your premiums will go up. He meant your benefits will go up. Joe Biden could openly say, I'm going to tax you at 100% so we can give health care to illegals. And the media would spin it and say, no, we're going to have a tax that covers 100% of health care for everyone who needs it. Joe Biden could say, I'm going to send police into your home to take whatever I want away from you. And the media would say, no, we're only doing it to keep you safe. It's only to take away things that are a danger to your life. There's a famous line in Charlie Daniels' song, and I don't 100% agree with Charlie on it, but it says, you're trying to take my guns away, and that would be just fine if you take them away from the criminals first. Well, I'm not going to give up my guns. Because unlike so many in society, I know what the Second Amendment is about. And because of my study of history and political science and other things, I know what the government should be about, and I see it, and it is not about those things right now. We have a man who openly says he will confiscate your guns and raise your health care costs, and people cheer him on. And that should worry you. But I've talked long enough. I want to thank you for joining in, and please let me know what you think in the comments. As always, though, keep it civil. We don't learn from screaming at each other and hurling insults and arguing. We learn from debate and from reasoned civil conversation. I learn more from a good debate than I do from many, many other things. Because a good debate makes me research, makes me read, makes me lead myself down paths I've not gone. And honestly, that's a lot of fun for me, but we need to keep that mindset when we are conversing on topics we disagree on. As always, please remember to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you're kept abreast of all new content as it posts. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.